quick shout out to my amazing sponsors for the Patriot Barbie podcast. My title sponsor is Dr. Stephen Soloway. He is known globally as the Miracle MD. He's the author of Bad Medicine, a book about bad politics, bad government, bad hospitals, bad drug companies, and bad doctors. Buy it on drsoloway.com. My other sponsor, Celtic Plastics, is a water filtration system for your home and work that clears bacteria, fluoride, and heavy metals from your drinking water. You can buy one on CelticPlastics.com and use my code PatriotBarbie for 10% off. And one last shout out to Red Balloon. Thousands of companies are pushing back on wokeness in the workplace. Find a freedom-loving, non-woke job at redballoon.work and follow them on Instagram at redballoonwork. For all my sponsor info, book, and merch, go to patriotbarbie.com. Like, subscribe, and share this podcast. Now, let's get into today's episode. Welcome to the Patriot Barbie podcast. I'm your host, Lindsey Graham, author and conservative activist. I love Jesus. I love America. I'm a proud wife, mom of 3, and I'm having bold and witty conversations with America's patriots, the ones that cancel culture desperately want to blacklist. Trust me, I've been there. In 2020, I defied government lockdowns in Oregon, reopened my salon, and became an icon of freedom. I've been targeted by government and raging liberals every day since, and I refuse to back down. Patriots, I'm here to tell you, your values are worth fighting for. The Patriot Barbie podcast starts now.
Awesome.
How goes it? How's the rapper life?
Yeah, so I just went to New Jersey to perform at the Blexit Fest 2022. I got to perform alongside artists like Topher, D-Cure, Marine Rapper, DVS 7.0, and a bunch of patriotic conservative artists. It was a great gathering. It was really fun. I actually just got introduced to Lexit at the event that we were at AmFest West. So I met them. I did the song Lexit for them. And then next thing I know, Blexit hits me up and was like, hey, do you want to perform at this event? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to. But I wasn't really familiar with them. So I had to kind of do my research on them. Yeah, I think it's just like a growing thing right now. Like it's going to be a trend because a lot of people from all races and all, religions are just leaving the Democratic Party. So
Right.
in that they're finding themselves together and united. The really cool thing about this Blexit event was that there were so many, it was so like mixed race-wise, and it was just beautiful. And they spoke on that. Like a lot that we had, every nationality you could imagine just getting up there and talking about how, I thought the Democrats thought that we don't do this. I thought that this is going to be a hateful event. And it was just beautiful to see people coming together like that.
That is awesome. Well, some pretty big people founded Blexit. I'm certain it was Candace Owens and Officer Tatum. So Officer Brandon Tatum, yeah. So that's awesome. So do you have to join a chapter, or can you join a chapter, or are you going to do anything like that?
Well, no, they spoke to me about possibly being an ambassador, and I was like, I'm all about it. So
that's awesome.
We'll see what happens with that. But I was not a Blexit quote unquote member, etc. But I agree with all of their ideas. Ideologically, like I'm with them. So same with Lexit, which is why I wrote the song for them. So I'm just like, I'm a mixed race cat myself. So I'm like, I could go either way. You know what I mean?
I was just gonna ask. What do you got? What do you got in there?
Yeah, so I actually have a tattoo right here. Can you see that? The Italian flag? Hence the Nittoli. So I'm half Italian, and the other tattoo, can you see that? Yeah, it's Trinidad.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm Italian and Trinidadian. It's like the rarest mix I've ever heard of. But
I don't even know what Trinidadian is.
Yeah, basically black and white, and my mom is white, my dad is not, and yeah. So for me, when all this racial stuff was happening, especially here in liberal LA, I was like, this really is funky to me because I was raised by white people who loved me unconditionally, and a lot of what they were saying, just the narrative that they were pushing was just so fake and phony. And I was like, I'm a perfect person to go on the news right now and talk about my story and how I have all white relatives, and they had a black son and a black grandson, and they love me unconditionally with no problem. So where is that story right now? How come that's not being pushed?
And they were conservative, not Democrat, because everyone would say, well, if they were Democrat, of course they were inclusive.
Exactly.
That's so wild. Okay, so Nick, how old are you?
I am 34.
Okay. Ooh, you look younger than that.
Getting up there, baby.
You take great care of your skin, my friend.
Thank you.
When did you start rapping? Okay, so let's hold on. Let's tell everybody. Nick Nittoli is, would you call there's like a whole category now. Is it a MAGA rapper? Seriously? He's a MAGA rapper, not just a
what's
rapper.
funny is like a lot of these guys are offended by MAGA rapper, but I love it. So they, conservative rapper, Christian rapper, whatever you want to call it, but I actually prefer MAGA rapper. I love it. So
yeah, I think that's cool. Maybe you should coin your own that's like an encompassing of all the things. I'm conservative, Christian,
that's right.
this, Trump lover. You could have your own, not LGBTQ, like MAGA, Christian, your own MC, letter. Okay, I'm serious. That actually might be cool.
That's cool. I like it.
Were you rapping? You've been a Christian your whole life. You've been a rapper your whole life. You've been a conservative your whole life. I mean, when did you start rapping and then go straight conservative, or have you rapped differently?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because I came into the music industry as a singer-songwriter / artist on that TV show on Bravo called Bravo's Platinum Hit, starring Cara Diaguardi and Jewel. So I got like a nice little entrance into the music industry. I was on TV. I was on national TV on a reality show. So I wasn't really rapping too much then, but it was always like something I had in my back pocket. I was doing kind of more like Ryan Tedder, Gavin DeGraw, like adult contemporary pop. And then after the show, I kind of found myself in Hollywood, surrounded by some of the worst people, not the most Christian people around. And I was basically just trying to make money and ended up producing and started writing and producing just to pay my bills. I learned how to produce because I realized that it was something that people were doing for money. So ended up producing for people like Snoop Dogg, French Montana, YG, a bunch of different artists. And then I kind of propelled the producing thing into a contract with Warner Chappell Music Publishing, which was in 2017. And they gave me my own studio at Jim Henson Studios. And this was the first time that I had my own studio. I was signed and I could kind of breathe for a second. And that's when I really attacked the rap game and just started writing and producing my own music as Nick Nittoli, done working for all these other people because I had done that from 2011 to 2017. And then I just kind of started putting my values into my music, whether it be, Christian values or conservative values or kind of conspiracy theory values. And then I just kind of, delved into it more. And now here I am.
What is your, what would you say is the most dramatic conspiracy theory that you believe in?
I mean, I believe 9/11 was an inside job. I believe in reptilian aliens controlling us behind the scenes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's a big one.
The UFO thing, I believe, I really believe in aliens hardcore. I'm one of those guys that can stay up and watch Ancient Aliens all night long.
Oh my gosh, that's so wild. We're gonna have to talk about this. Let's just talk about that for like 5 minutes at least.
Everything they said about Trump,
us.
that is false. I call that a conspiracy theory. Every truth that they say about Trump, and that was one of the things that led me to Trump, is that I was already a conspiracy theorist, not believing what the media said. And the moment I started hearing Trump say fake news and fake media, I was like, all right, is this a conspiracy? Is Trump working with them behind the scenes? What's going on? And the more I delved into what he was saying, I was like, wow, like this guy is the truth. This is the only president that's ever spoken out about, other than JFK,
right,
about the media lying and don't trust the newspapers and the media is not here to entertain you. And I fell in love. I'll be honest with you. I just fell in love with Trump. I love, I think he's a very comedic figure too. Like when they said, you called women fat and obese, and he goes, only Rosie O'Donnell. I love him.
He's shameless. I love it. Hey, did you know one of my guests recently told me that the term conspiracy theorist was coined by the FBI.
By the Warren Commission for the JFK assassination created it in order to steer people away from the truth against the magic bullet theory. So I'm fully tuned in, baby.
So you're on board with the JFK assassination was what, either fake or staged, or what was it?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons why I got the tattoo, is that I always want him with me because I feel like he really stood for America. He really stood up for American values, and he lost his life because of it. That's probably the biggest conspiracy theory that I'm like, I'm wholeheartedly into, is that our true king was ripped away from us. you know? And so that fateful day in Dallas is something that replays in my mind every day. You know, it's not something that is overlooked by me or my family. Probably because I'm always playing it, replaying it, and watching JFK and talking about it. I feel like it's something that Americans really need to know. And instead, we're watching, you know, talking about people and their race and
Kim
you know
Kardashian.
what religion they believe in, all this crazy stuff, man. Like,
yep, we needed to be talking about some more wholesome, real life content.
yeah.
So backstory, viewers, listeners. Nick Nittoli was just another Instagram follower in my mind. When one day I got an Instagram message that said, "Man, I love what you're doing. You're inspiring women. You're inspiring patriots. Everything you do is amazing. I'm going to write a song about you." And I went, "Oh, okay, hold on. Creeper alert." Actually, I was like, "Okay, all right, let's I can't wait to hear the song about me." And the next day, "Hey, I finished your song." And I was like, "No way is this song going to be good. There's no way. First of all, it's probably either not really about me. It's just about like conservative chicks.
Right.
Or it's real crappy because he did it overnight. Or this is some kind of like scam. Like if I click on the link, you're going to like hack my bank accounts."
Right.
So then I started kind of creeping and I'm like, "Oh, this guy's legit. He writes songs for Snoop. He writes a lot of songs." And I went and looked at all your music on iTunes.
Awesome.
Okay, there's a lot of conservative songs. All right. So clicked and listened. And well, okay. So let's see a clip of the Patriot Barbie right here.
Awesome.
You should be like Lindsey Graham. She's saving her kids from Disneyland. I'm talking about the lady here, not the man or politician. I'm really just a fan, yeah, of your morals and values and everything about you. Yeah, you deserve a salute. Don't know where this world would be without you. Yeah, we need more women like her, like we're the ground troops. And every ex-girlfriend was psychotic. And yeah, they all Barbies, but they ain't as patriotic. She brought that two-way so the girl knows how to pop it. I need a G.I. Jane if I'm really being honest. I know that it's a long list, but I'm worth it, babe. I'm looking for a woman that's conservative. I know I did some things, girl, and I'm sorry, yeah. But the truth is that I'm looking for somebody, yeah. Someone who came out fresh from the army, yeah. So I'm looking for my patriotic Barbie, yeah.
Wow, that was amazing. So you did the song. It literally has my name in it. I remember telling people, "This guy wrote a song about me." And they're like, "Oh, cool." And I'm like, "No, listen, it's really good." And they would listen and go, "Oh, it's about you." I'm like, "I told you it was about me. It has my name in it. It's the Patriot Barbie." So impressed with the song. I can't believe you wrote that overnight. But then
Thank you.
you and I went to AmFest in California. I did not know you were going to be there until I think the very last minute.
Yeah, vice
And
versa.
I'm sitting down at the bar having a fruity cocktail, and you and your fiance roll up and say, "Can we take some footage for the music video?" And I was like, "I'm supposed to be in a music video right now." But it turned out good too. You guys are like true artists.
You were dressed for the part though. You were ready to go. Makeup ready, camera ready.
Should have had more patriotic gear on, but it turned out amazing. So I'll attach the link so people can watch it here. But so have you experienced any cancellation because like record labels dropping you or refusing? Oh, I'm sure. Tell me about that.
So it's a funny story because I got signed in 2017 when I was working with some of the biggest artists around, and I was very mainstream to Warner Chappell. They signed me based off of Snoop Dogg, French Montana. I was working with this girl, Neon Hitch, Bianca Ryan, who was America Got Talent first winner. So I had a lot of people that were they didn't see this coming at all, but they signed me to a 5-year deal. And a lot of money. So they owned all of my publishing. And so once I got in the studio, you know, my first songs weren't really conservative or pro-Trump or anything. I kind of laid low, but I always knew in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is going to be a shitstorm because, you know, eventually they're gonna hit me up about like, hey, what's going on? So then I started dropping music that they probably were not so comfortable with, and needless to say, the record label and the heads of record labels kind of brought me in for a meeting to talk about my controversial music and what my plan was. But mind you, they had already spent their money. I was already in their back pockets, and I had the bag already. So I told them like this. I said, listen, a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be doing, you're probably not going to be okay with on a personal level, but financially, as a business decision, I'm good money. I'm going to be producing and writing more music than all of your artists combined, which I did, by the way. All of their artists combined have not produced and put out as many music videos or songs. I said, I'm a worker. I've always been a worker. That's how I got here. That's how I got your guys' attention. So just stick with me, and you're not going to like it personally, but financially, I'm going to be good business. And so that worked for a few years, and then Warner Chappell just sold me and all of the publishing rights to a new company called CTM Outlander, which is a Norwegian company. They're in the Netherlands, I believe, actually. And so now I'm with them, but they're still backing me and they're still supporting me. So
Awesome.
it's been good and bad, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and a lot of, I mean, thank goodness you had a contract, because the minute they try to back out of that contract, you're like, discrimination. I got a discrimination suit. I'm going to get paid way more money than you were going to pay me.
Yeah.
But it's so sad that, especially in the rap industry, okay? In the rap industry, they're coming after you for making controversial conservative music. It's like, that song is about raping and pillaging villages and drive-by shootings and drugs. But this is controversial that I support our American president. It's so backwards.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardi B kind of aspect of music that's going on right now, I felt like, if anything, I'm leading kids towards a more conscious, more Christian, value as far as what they're going to get out of my music and the message. But one thing I wanted to touch on is the reason why I wanted to do a song for you. There's a lot of people in the Patriot community that are active and that share the same values. But the reason why I really wanted to do a song for you, Lindsey, is because you're adamant. You're a real worker, and you really carry these values. You talk it, but you also walk it. And that was one of the things that I found in your story. To be perfectly honest with you, when I first found your story, I was in tears. Like, it touched me.
Aww.
and I was sharing it with my family, my friends, and just telling them about this particular situation that happened. And I said, but a lot of situations have happened to people, but look how she overcame this. And look what she's done with the attention that she got from it. And that was one of the reasons. I mean, all the lyrics that I wrote are really, really from my heart. You know, I feel every lyric emotionally. Like, that's how I feel. So, and you know what I'm saying in there. So
Man,
it's just,
you're gonna make me cry.
it's a salute to you, girl. It's a salute to you. And if I can help get your message to other people and inspire more women and men, then I'm happy to do it. So it was a blessing, and thank you so much for being so cool and doing the music video on spot. Like, you're amazing. You're the coolest.
Oh, come on. Thank you for doing that. Like, if someone asks you to be in a music video for a song about yourself, you're like, yep, I'll be right there. Let me just finish my cocktail. Well, just so you know, like, you doing that is still a ministry, because when people, you shone the light on me, and when people shine the light on me, I have to give God all the credit. I mean,
Awesome.
you say when I overcome what happened to me, but I really truly believe that I wasn't really overcoming anything. I was fulfilling God's purpose for my life. And I mean, I will very distinctly and publicly tell people about the moment I realized that my life as I knew it was over. And it was sitting in my truck. I had just gotten home from work. I was still in my truck, getting ready to go in with all my crazy kids, and I'd been cancel cultured for the last, weeks and weeks, and I was losing all my stylists. I mean, they were walking out every single day and being slandered in the news. And I was like, I will never have the same life. I cannot get this back. I cannot overcome this on my own. There is nothing I can say, nothing I can do. This is over as we know it. And I remember crying because I was sad about losing my life, my livelihood.
Sure.
But in that moment, I went, okay, Lord, I'm sad, but I trust you. And I trust that whatever you're doing here, this is so horrible, you're going to make it really, really good. So I'm just super excited about how much goodness there is.
Wow.
And that's where I feel like that we're at is, when people are afraid of speaking up, afraid of getting canceled, I'm like, dude, go get canceled. It's the best thing ever. It's the best thing that's ever happened to you, because that is modern day persecution. I may not and will never be by far a great Christian, let alone a perfect Christian, but to be persecuted for standing up for what I believe in, it has been my ultimate honor. And I tell people, you do what you need to do. I have people that ask me every day about, well, I want to speak out about this, but I might lose my job. And I say, you know what? You do what you need to do to survive. But I will tell you that if you stand up for what is right, God will take care of you. God will bless you, and you will have pride like no other, because in this one lifetime that we had, you made the hard choice to be persecuted for your beliefs. And we both know when the end of the world comes, we're going to get tried. And it's like, I'm so happy to know that I'm not going to back down.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. And they say, not that the salon or anything that you were doing was satanic, but they say the devil's rejection is God's protection. So one door closes and another one opens. And so I think that, that happened for me a lot of the, in my story. I was like working with some, mainstream rappers who didn't have Christian beliefs. A lot of them really were satanic, and Lord knows what they did in smoke-filled back rooms and stuff. And God just kind of said, "No, this isn't where I want you," and kind of shifted what I was doing. And BBC called me to talk about QAnon out of nowhere, just because I was posting on Instagram. And next thing I know, I'm on BBC talking about all this stuff, and just the flow of Christian people in my DMs and QAnon and Trump followers all just supporting me and buying my music, and they've become a huge part of my new fan base. It's just been a blessing in disguise. So sometimes God's plan, man, you never know where he's going.
Yep. And it makes you wonder. We never know what the road not traveled. We never know what could have or should have or would have been.
Absolutely.
But I like to think, like, for situations like you, as great a job as you were doing writing for Snoop and all these big stars, what if that never would have gone anywhere? What if something would have happened and they all said, "Oh, we just don't like this guy's style anymore," and you would have just dead ended? But you turned your music and you used your gift for God and for his glory. And now doors are opening and you're on this just uphill climb of success.
Absolutely. I mean, my thing was, even when I went on the Bravo TV show, I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to get the mic in my hand and perform live for people. So from 2011 to 2020, I hadn't been able to do that. Like, I was working behind the scenes. I started producing. I became like a workhorse for some of these, mainstream rappers. And the moment I turned my life over to God, as far as my music was concerned, next thing I know, I'm on stage performing at all these events, and people are really giving me a shot. And I'm like, that's no coincidence. That's no accident. That's God's plan.
That's so awesome. And, downloads and money and glory and fame, it's all, I'm sure, fabulous, but it's nice. It's not the same as having the honor of saying, like, I produce music that glorifies the Lord. I produce music that changes the morality of children and brings love and light into people's homes, not anger and violence. And you could be filthy rich, but if you go to bed at night and you wrote music all day about popping bitches, like, you're not sleeping well. I'm sorry.
No, I started thinking about, like, God forbid, if something happened to me, like, I was like, Nick, like, what if you weren't here tomorrow? And your music will last long, it'll go on for years. What kind of message do you want to last? And I had these songs like about drop it low and, drinking lean and all this. And I was like, nah, man, like, I want my message to be something really pure, something that I know is going to last and be timeless. And the message of God, the message of conservative rap and stuff, all of that is just something I feel like is really going to last. Yeah. So I just changed it,
Well, and like, looking at, of course, everybody wants to be successful. And when you do something, of course, the goal is, this will monetize eventually and make money. And you could go either way. Yes, of course. But knowing that you've dedicated your stuff to the Lord is like having way more faith that he's going to bless it than just counting on, well, I hope Snoop Dogg discovers me, or I hope the next big artist discovers me. Right. You've actually got a much more security system in place, knowing that the Lord's going to bless music that is going out and spreading the gospel. So
absolutely. And I'm more fulfilled by it inside. Like, my heart is just more warmed by the stuff that I'm doing. At the end of the day, the music that I was creating years ago was just not, it was good. I mean, like, sonically it sounded great. Like, the mixes were great, but it didn't fulfill me. It didn't make me feel how I feel today. So to be able to pass that message on to other people and to kind of let them know like my struggle and what I went through and how God saved me, and hope that they can get saved through my music is like, put me in the casket. I'm done. That's all I ever want to do on this earth.
Right. And you don't know, on the grand scheme of things, it's like, yes, you're getting very, very, very popular in the MAGA movement, and you're playing at every event that I hear of.
Right.
But you don't know each tiny person that you reach, which is really where the glory is. Like, there could be a boy somewhere in the US right now looking for cool rap, and he comes across your music, and instead of hearing violence, he hears oh man, this guy's pretty cool, and he's singing about Jesus. So is Jesus cool? You could be saving lives and you don't even know it.
Totally. I stopped cursing in all of my music. I'm doing a lot more Christian music, pro-God, pro-Trump. And so I'm at the Blexit event, and for the first time in my life, I've been in the music industry on TV, written for people for over 10 years. But for the first time, a little girl walks up to me and she said, "Can I get your autograph?" And I'm sitting with my fiance, and we're laughing about it. I'm like, she doesn't know who I am. So I sign it. And then a little boy comes up and he's like, "Can I get your autograph?" I'm like, all right, you guys are having some fun. But I signed it. And then after the show, a grown man walks up to me with those two kids, and he said, "We drove 3 hours to come see you." He's like, "I just found out about you a few months ago. I'm a huge fan. The autographs, these are my kids." And I mean, I had to hold back tears because it was a beautiful thing that happened, but I've been working so hard and so long to get to this level that it was just this culmination of pureness, and the music that I was performing was pro-God and Christian music. So for me, it was one of my best days of my life.
Yeah. And how amazing for that father to know that if his kids want to listen to rap, they don't have to listen to the crap that's been produced for the last however many years. They can when people find you, they also find all of the other artists that you've listed.
Totally.
And Bryson and DS 2.0, whatever.
Yeah, DVS.
Yeah, DVS. And I met all those guys at Amp Fest with you, and I was like, I had no idea that these guys were out here producing seriously just straight conservative Christian rap. And I don't even love rap that much, but I was like, all right, this stuff is good. This is good. I could get on board. Yeah. Well, when my son is 8, when he starts saying, I want to listen to rap, because I listen to Casting Crowns radio all day in the car, and I've actually listened to one of your songs. He's like, "This isn't Jesus music." And I'm like, "Actually it is." Just so you know. But it's let's break that stigma. And when they say, "Let's listen to rap," I'm like, here are your permitted list of rappers that you may listen to. And you're going to be on it.
Right. And I'm grateful to be on that list. I think that it's a great way to introduce kids to hip hop music without having to hear all that, WAP and wet ass pussy and all this crazy stuff that's going on right now. I feel like that whole genre has kind of been, just it has this filth to it, and that's not all we do. You know what I mean? As hip hop artists, there's a whole nother side to it, and I'm just grateful to be a part of the gang.
Yeah. Well, you're a big part of the gang. I'm so proud of you. What is the what do you think is what's your favorite song that you've written?
That's a good one.
Don't say Patriot Barbie. I'm not
no Patriot Barbie. No, I'm gonna be real with you, girl. Patriot Barbie came from above, because that melody, that hook, the lyrics, I was standing back what did I just do right now?
It's pretty awesome, I will admit.
It's a beautiful song, and I sound great on that song. I'm gonna be as egotistical as I can be. I sound great on that song, so that is one of my favorites. But I would have to say this new song I just did with D-Cure called "Testify," because it's about God, it's about your faith, and it was a place in my life where I felt like, the lyrics are, I want to talk to God right now. Can you hear me? I need to talk to God right now. Can you feel me? Can I talk to God right now? Because my faith's so high that it's time that I testify. And that's really where I'm at right now. I feel like it's time to, throw the flags up and let people know really where I'm at and testify, that this is something beautiful, that this is something life-changing. So for me, that song in particular it's a beautiful one.
That's awesome. So, where are you signed? You're signed with CTM, is that right?
Yeah, CTM Outlander / Bump Into Genius. which is another boutique publishing company.
Okay, and is it the same deal where like they're letting you produce and write whatever you want, and you're contracted and you're secure and
Yeah,
everything?
yeah. I mean, I have to send them everything before I distribute it, but
Okay.
at the end of the day, they kind of know what it is now, so
Yeah, they're like,
they're
oh,
ready for
another
me.
Trump song. We got it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. And your fiance, who I met at AmFest, she's quite lovely, and
He
she
loves you.
deserves so much credit. She did that whole videography during
Oh
the.
yeah, oh
She's a
yeah.
sweetheart. How long have you guys been dating?
We are going to be celebrating our 5-year
Whoa,
anniversary in a few months from now. So almost 5 years. We just got engaged last year.
that's right.
So that's happening soon. We're actually waiting. Her sister is in Canada and she can't get a visa right now to come out for the wedding. So that's like delaying our whole
Oh, okay,
process.
okay.
But yeah, I mean, she's been a super supportive, huge part of my entire project. I mean,
Hmm.
she's in my music videos. She shoots my music videos. She does the makeup. She turned me into the Grinch for my music video, The Grinch, this Christmas,
Oh my
and
gosh.
she's super talented. So,
She
and she
does all that
loves
makeup. I've
what's
seen
that?
your Instagram with all those different.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, that's her.
incredible.
That's her. Yeah.
What does she do for a living? How she's so
That's what
talented?
she does. That's what she
Okay.
does. So she'll do like Netflix TV shows, and she just did a movie recently with Robert Dabi, who's another conservative, and yeah, she's just kind of working behind the scenes right now.
That is awesome. Where do you guys live?
We're in Hollywood, California, unfortunately,
Okay.
but we're trying to move
To
like within
Arizona?
the next couple of months.
To Arizona?
I would love to, but because her family's in Los Angeles, we kind of have to stay somewhere around there. But
Darn.
Hollywood in particular is so left that it's just crazy. Like I gotta get out of this city.
So, okay, so what do you experience on a daily basis when you're like, we got to get out of here? It's so left. Is it
I
violent?
mean,
Is it homeless? Is it
no,
drugs on the
I mean, I
streets?
freak out with the masks, Lindsay. I'll be honest with you. Like the
Oh,
whole mask thing for me, not even politically. Like I can't have the mask on. I
no.
hate the mask.
And you know what? You don't even have to defend yourself. It doesn't matter why. Or
Right,
like, I don't have a
right.
medical condition. I don't care if you don't have a medical condition. If you don't want to wear a mask, you don't have
Yeah,
to. So whatever the
yeah.
reason, but they're still Nazi about it there.
Yeah, they're pushing it in Target and Best Buy and all these places that I like to go. You know, I love to just go to the mall or the movies on a weekend and just enjoy America. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'm 34, so I remember America when, you know what I mean, like none of this was going on.
Yeah.
So for me it's just it's really taxing on the soul. Like I just, any sort of rules and regulations like that. When Biden won, they were in the streets honking their horns, like celebrating. And I was like,
Oh,
y'all know y'all stole this election and you're
yeah.
stealing it from one of the best and greatest presidents that we'll ever have. Our new true king is
Yeah.
who you guys are honking for defeat for. So I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah, it just gets exhausting. I moved when I lived in Oregon until September of 2020.
Mm,
And of course, there was the lockdowns and the mask mandates. And
right.
of course, I defied all of them. And
Of course.
it just gets so taxing because you're like, all right, I need to go to the store and get this. But if I go, I could get arrested because like I
Yeah,
know that I'm not putting a
yeah,
mask on when I go. I'm going to have to
right.
fight with all the clerks. I'm going to have to deal with the dirty looks. And
Totally.
it was like their way of trapping us because it made it so much harder for us just to function normally. And
Yeah.
they don't realize how depressing a community they make when they do that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, I believe in smoke-filled back rooms making these decisions years ahead of time before it even gets to us. I really believe in, whatever you want to call it, Illuminati, Freemasons, control and everything. I really believe in the powers that be being the same people that killed JFK and faked the moon landing, you name it. So when the mask was going on everybody's mouth, I said, look at what they're really saying though. They're saying, shut up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear you. You're
Yep.
voiceless now.
Yep.
And as a hip hop artist, as an artist in general, I'm not voiceless. And I don't believe that I'm powerless. And I know that my voice matters. So for me, it was just one of those situations where I couldn't leave the house.
Yeah.
If you go on my YouTube page, you'll see a lot of these videos are like in the house videos. We just ordered a background off Amazon. I had my fiance do the makeup because we weren't leaving the house. So we just had to get creative, turn off the news and turn off the lies a little bit and just
Yeah.
kind of live our lives. So
Yep. The thing that really bothered me the most as an extremely extrovert person was the idea that you would never know if someone was smiling at you anymore. Like if I'm out in public, rarely am I disconnected from like even the person walking by me. I will look, and it's really weird because I'll look at people now and they just keep looking ahead. And I'm like, you're not going to look at me? Yeah. I'm another human within like a foot of you. Yeah. But I would walk around and I'm like, I'm smiling at you, but I can't tell if you're smiling back because you're wearing a mask. And it was a way that they could disconnect society and take away our humanity. And even now, up until however many months ago at the airport, I just hated it. I'm the only one walking around without a mask. And I'm going, gosh, you guys are all so just disconnected and like somber in your presence. And look at me. I'm free as can be. And like, you don't wish you had what I have.
Right. I mean, they say the devil looks like this. And God and freedom looks like this, hands open, arms open, ready to accept everything. It's the same thing with deception and truth. Deception is like, oh, I don't want to know about that. And truth is just like, so that's what you're a walking symbol of in that airport is God and truth. But one of the things that they really are trying to do is divide and conquer. It's the greatest strategy of all time. Divide and conquer. And they know that we're stronger together, which is why we couldn't go to funerals and go to wakes or go to church or go to places where we really come together, because they know that we're stronger together. And then if we all started getting in, a barbecue situation and start talking about all of these bullshit ass rules, that they're going to be weakened by that.
That's right.
And that their agenda is going to be weakened by that. So that's why, I just, it was hard because everybody else was down with it, including some of my members of my family. And I was just telling them, like, this is what I've been studying this whole time. Like, this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to keep us away so that they can conquer us. So we can't let that happen. That's another reason why I took such a strong stance in my music, because I'm like, they're making me voiceless in person. You know what I mean? I got to go hit the studio and be as unfiltered and as uncensored as Nick Nittoli's ever been.
That's right.
And so, you hear the stuff I'm doing. I got no filter, no censor.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we need too, is because when they went as hard as they did with the lockdowns and the mandates, they left no room for anyone to speak out against it, let alone loudly and proudly. They have suppressed us so much that I feel like those that do have a platform, that do have a voice, you have to be extra, extra louder, extra uncensored, and be even more open and vocal to compensate for the rest who are like still suppressed and still not sure if they should, because they're going to get canceled and what's going to happen if I speak out. So, we need people like you to be making music. What if they never listen to the Patriot Barbie podcast? What if they never run into a conservative? They don't follow a conservative on Instagram. But if they hear, one of your songs, okay, you've maybe reached somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I follow a few conspiracy podcasts and stuff. And one of the things they always say is, I'm happy that you guys are here watching us, but what you need to be doing is doing this on your own. What I'm doing right now, doing my conspiracy podcast, is great, but you need to go and be a teacher of this information. And that's kind of how I feel. It's like, I'll delve into some videos and stuff and watch, and just to kind of like pump up on the material, but I'm really pushing it out at this point because I've learned so much at 34 years old that I'm like, I got to teach the 20-year-olds, and I got to teach the 15-year-olds what the game is right now. So that's one of the things that I loved about you, is I was like, Patriot Barbie's not just posting. I'm like, she's active. She's an active part of this community, and she has no fear, and she's adamant. That's what I love about her, is that she's adamant. She keeps talking that, and she keeps posting. She keeps living it and walking the talk. So for me, it's like, you were an inspiration to me. I was like, man, I got to get up on my game, because this is what we need. We need all these patriots united.
Yep. Yep. I want to get into what do you think about the FBI raiding Donald Trump's house? I think there's already conspiracies flying, and I love it. I love reading conspiracy theories. What's your take?
To be honest, it's funny that you said that, because
this is fresh.
To be honest, I've set a block of time, about 3 hours tonight, to just go online and find all of those conspiracy theories.
Rabbit hole into the White House.
Yeah. And then decide what I really think. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. We all knew this was coming. But I think the Democrats, man, they just they do the dumbest things in the world.
do.
It's almost like they should pull a few people from the right and get them on their team so that they can get some good ideas. Because every idea the left has had has been terrible. Defund the police. Let's let a transgender woman win the Olympics. Like, it's like the worst ideas ever. So I think this is just another, footnote in the bad idea pile from the Democrats. I think it's going to really shoot them in the foot come election time, because they're turning Donald Trump into even more of a hero than he already is to some of us. And I really got to sink my teeth into it more to really know exactly what happened and what they were rating or what they were trying to do. But just the official story coming out, this is the best. This is how you know the media is lying. The headline said, Donald Trump says FBI raided them.
I
was
noticed
like,
that too. I noticed that too, that it wasn't like the FBI does this. It says, announcement, Donald Trump claims this. Donald Trump says this. I'm like, but they did. So,
they've been coming after him for so long, Lindsey, and missing every time. Russian collusion and the impeachment and all this stuff. I mean, if you really I go on Google and I search Trump, and I go to the news section on Google News to see what the latest news stories are. And it's always like, oh, he's going to jail. Oh, he's gonna be in jail tomorrow morning.
Because if they can convince you it's happening, then you start manifesting it, and it starts being spoken about, and then it just happens.
It's been like that for years. And so, my fiance was somebody who I kind of had to like swindle a little bit to get her over to my side. But they helped me so much by having a false narrative. I would just say, they said that Donald Trump Jr. is going to jail because he did this. Ivanka is going to jail. Laura Trump is going to jail. And then she really just started seeing how fake and phony these news stories were, and started coming over to the right a little bit more.
Good. Well, the thing is, too, it's like, as long as this might even be the best thing ever. Well, I mean, we know God turns all things to good, right? So keep victimizing Donald Trump, see what happens. And it does turn all things good, because people are starting to wake up and see the corruption. But also, they continue to claim that he still has done, X, Y, and Z wrong. Well, we raided the White House, nothing happened. Well, we looked into his this, nothing happened. We tried to get him for the Russia collusion, nothing happened. The last place he could possibly be like harboring things would be in his house. Well, they just raided it. So if they don't find anything, you're kind of like, now what? Where else do you get a look? You've already looked under his mattress. You've already busted open his safe. Did you heard that the guy that signed the warrant was one of Jeffrey Epstein's lawyers? Did you hear that?
No, I did not.
The federal judge that signed the FBI raid warrant was a judge that quit his job to represent Jeffrey Epstein. So that'll help your little Google search.
And see, at the end of the day, that's what I mean by things being controlled in smoke-filled back rooms by, the Federal Reserve and people who really print the money and stuff. It's like Epstein was a huge example of there being an Illuminati or secret societies behind. Look, I've been telling my grandparents every day for the past 10 years about secret societies and things going on in a world they can't see. Epstein was the proof of it. I said, we got Prince Andrew, Ghislaine Maxwell. They're hanging out with the Queen of England, sitting in the chair with Kevin Spacey and all these actors, and they're all involved in child molestation. I said, you don't think that that's a secretive thing that's nefarious happening behind the scenes?
Right.
And I said, at the end of the day, it's the only thing that's missing from it is Satanism. So let's just imagine that they were all up there in that secret island touching kids and worshiping God.
Right.
Really? Yeah. Really? Come on now. And so even my grandparents are starting to come around to the ideas that I've been pushing. I mean, they're basically helping conspiracy theorists like me to just get the word out. Like, this is obvious. Epstein was a bombshell. So that doesn't surprise me at all about, the person who signed the warrant being involved with Epstein, because Trump was the first one to talk about Epstein. He said it's a cesspool. And he said Prince Andrew knows. Prince Andrew knows. Talk to Prince Andrew.
Yeah.
So he already knew.
Yep.
So that's another reason why I love him.
Well, and the idea too that like pretty much everybody knew that Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile, but you're telling me that all these people that took pictures with him were like, oh, we didn't know. They either know, and so you're willingly associating. Well, why would you willingly associate unless you approved of the behavior? Why would you approve of it unless you partook in it? So you're less of a conspiracy theorist probably than you are a ahead of your time truth teller.
That's right.
Love your hat.
And there were just a lot of weird connections with that whole Epstein thing. I mean, the the bar connection and all of these celebrities. I mean, at the end of the day, the flight log, Bill Clinton and all these people, and then you start questioning like, well, why are all these people conglomerately against Donald Trump?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the ways that I knew that Trump was legit, because I was like, he cares about children.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously not a pedophile, and he's not in this club. You know, like George Carlin says, it's a big club and you ain't in it. And I think that Donald Trump is not in that club, even though he's, you know, got the money to be in that club. When he speaks, I feel like he's just a wholesome guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even when he did the grab the pussy thing, that's gotten every female that I've wanted to push towards Trump away from Trump. But I had to just look at them and say, you know what? I'm a man. I'm a straight man. And sometimes that's how we talk behind the scenes. Yep. That doesn't mean he's like nefarious.
Right.
That means he's straight.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He said it. Some people are doing it. You care less about the people that are actually doing it to children than you are the guy who said it one time.
Exactly. It was it was locker room talk for me. You know what I mean? I played sports. That's just locker room talk. It's not the greatest thing for him to, you know what I mean? But
and to be perfectly honest, as a female, I'm not offended. Like, that's not offensive. I mean, that is how men talk sometimes about women. It's disrespectful a little bit to women who, you know, but I'm not the kind of woman that would allow that to happen to me. So therefore I'm not offended. He wouldn't do it to me.
Exactly.
And this is so funny that we're like talking about random topics, but so Trump was logged on Epstein's plane like once, maybe twice. Do you think he was... We love Trump, so of course I'm going to think the best. Do you think he was going there to like undercover, be sneaky, or why would he be on that plane then?
A couple of reasons. Okay. A, he could have been like a covert operative and to see what's going on. Okay. B, there might have been events there that were clean events that, I mean, he's got pictures with Epstein. When you have money like that, everybody's having the party, you're all together. That doesn't mean, you know, I've got pictures with some people that have done some terrible things. That doesn't mean I'm associated with what they've done behind the scenes. That means, you know, we both had some money at one time and we were together at the party. So, but I also think, I said, when I do something wrong, the last thing I do is draw attention to it. So Trump was saying, check out Epstein Island, talk to Prince Andrew. You don't know what's going on there. It's a cesspool. If he was on the island and had anything to do with kids or anything going on there, that would have been the last words out of his mouth.
That's right.
He was adding fuel to the fire. Why do you do that? Because you're innocent.
Good point. Why would he say, investigate this? Because I've been there 5 times. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Excellent point. All right, Nick. Where can people find you? Instagram, Nick Nittoli.
Yeah, it's Nick Nittoli. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, iTunes, Spotify, you name it, I'm on there. YouTube.
Yeah.
And yeah, check out the Patriot Barbie music video. It's fire. It's got a beautiful woman in it who stands for America. Check it out.
And also, I suggest people take like 20, 30, 40 minutes out of their time and just like peruse your music, because I would go in and decide which ones I'm going to download, and I'd listen to clips and I'm like, well, that one's hilarious. But you have to listen to all of them because there's so, like, it's the lyrics. It really is the rich lyrics that get you. Like I said, I don't even love rap music, but I've downloaded plenty of your songs because the lyrics are so awesome.
Thank you.
My kids are actually singing some of them now in the car. But let's play a clip really quick to give you credibility, you know, right, for this whole podcast of Snoop Dogg giving you a shout out on a song that you wrote for him. What year was this?
That was in 2016.
Okay, let's check it out real quick.
Double shout out to my main man, Slick Nick Nittoli.
Yeah, Nick Nittoli. All right, follow him on Instagram, Truth, Facebook, iTunes, Nick Nittoli, Nittoli. It'll be posted in the description. Do you have a cheers ready?
Okay, so I read your thing, and I don't drink alcohol.
That's fine.
So I'm going to be lame right now, but I do have a cheers ready. I'm going to hit you with the Red Bull, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
It's Patriot colors, and it gives you wings, baby.
Well,
but no, seriously, on a serious note, cheers to you. Thank you so much for what you're doing for this country. Thank you so much for what you're doing for women all across the world. And thank you for having me on your show and allowing me to write a great song with you. And it's so cool of you to hop in the music video. It's one of my favorite days of all time. So God bless you. God bless your podcast. And yeah, thank you.
Cheers. This is
Cheers.
not alcohol either, by the way. It says in my email, alcohol is not necessary. It's
Awesome.
raspberry lemonade crystal light deliciousness with some vodka. I'm just kidding.
I love Crystal
All right,
Light.
Nick, thanks so much for coming on. I will
Thanks so much for having
see
me.
you at the next patriotic event. I'll be in
Yeah.
the front row of the
Oh,
crowd cheering.
I was going to ask you, are you going to what is it? The next Ampfest?
I am talking to Katja today about it to secure my spot. Yep.
Awesome. Cool. Right on. I'll see you there.
All right, see you there. Thanks for tuning in to the Patriot Barbie podcast. Follow me on Truth Social at the Patriot Barbie and Instagram at the.patriot.barbie. Subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with your friends. You can find this show, my book Targeted, and my apparel line on www.patriotbarbie.com. God bless America, and God bless you.
It's Dylan's KC Barbecue at 4 Valley locations. Our sports bar in Arrowhead is packed with TVs for the ultimate sports fan. Our Wildlife World Zoo location will have you on the edge of your seat, dining right next to our 60,000-gallon shark tank. Dylan's Bayou at Pleasant Harbor has never-ending sunsets, beautiful people, and live music every weekend. And our newest location, Western Trails Ranch, is 12 acres of rodeo fun and live outdoor concerts for the entire family. It's Dylan's KC Barbecue, where we're elite, unique, and memorable.